The Christmas season brings enormous pressure to companies around the world. Marketing teams rush products to market, while executives make bold decisions and take massive gambles on what consumers will buy. Sometimes those gambles pay off spectacularly. Sometimes they fail in ways that cost millions or even billions of dollars. Today, we examine 10 times when Christmas went expensively wrong. These are the most expensive Christmas mistakes ever made. Mistake number 1. New Coke Christmas disaster, 1985. Coca-Cola was the most recognized brand on earth in 1985, with 99 years of success, using the same formula since 1886. But Pepsi was winning the cola wars through blind taste tests that consistently favored their sweeter formula. Coca-Cola's market share was slipping away, and executives began to panic about losing their dominant position in the soft drink industry. The decision was made to change the formula and make Coke sweeter to beat Pepsi at their own game. The plan was to launch the new formula in time for the Christmas season to maximize sales during the most important retail period of the year. On April 23, 1985, New Coke debuted with a massive marketing campaign that cost $4 million and included television commercials everywhere and print ads in every major magazine. Initial sales looked promising, and the company felt confident in their decision. Then the backlash began almost immediately as customers revolted against the change. Coca-Cola's phone lines were flooded with 1,500 complaint calls per day, which quickly escalated to 8,000 calls per day from angry customers demanding the old formula back. Protest groups formed across America, including the Old Coke Drinkers of America and the Society for the Preservation of the Real Thing. Angry letters poured into Atlanta headquarters, while customers stockpiled cases of old Coke before it disappeared from store shelves forever. The Seattle Times ran headlines calling it Coke's worst mistake in decades, while late-night comedians and Saturday Night Live created sketches mocking the decision relentlessly. The stock price dropped as bottlers threatened rebellion, and franchisees demanded the old formula be returned immediately. Internal chaos spread through the company as executives realized the full magnitude of their catastrophic error. Just 79 days after launch, on July 10, 1985, Coca-Cola admitted complete defeat in a press conference, announcing that Classic Coke would return, while New Coke would be quietly discontinued. The financial damage was staggering, with $4 million wasted on New Coke marketing, plus millions more in product development costs. Manufacturing retooling proved extremely expensive, while destroyed inventory write-offs added millions more to the losses. The total estimated financial loss reached $30 million, but the reputation damage proved even more costly as consumer trust was shaken, and 99 years of goodwill nearly destroyed in just 79 days. Coca-Cola today openly admits the mistake and uses it as a teaching moment in business schools worldwide. Marketing classes analyze the failure as a case study in how not to manage a beloved brand. New Coke became a synonym for corporate blunder that proves some things should never change, no matter what market research suggests. Christmas 1985 should have been a triumphant season for Coca-Cola, but instead became the most expensive formula change in corporate history. Mistake number 2. Walmart singing fish fiasco, 2007. Walmart was the biggest retailer on the planet in 2007, with expertise in predicting trends and mastering inventory management across thousands of stores. Someone in corporate headquarters had what seemed like a brilliant idea that singing fish decorations would be the next Big Mouth Billy Bass and become the hottest Christmas decoration of the season. The decision was made to order 2 million singing fish units manufactured in Chinese factories and shipped across the Pacific Ocean to fill Walmart warehouses. The fish arrived in stores and were stocked on shelves from floor to ceiling, with prominent end-cap displays and heavy television commercial promotion. Walmart expected complete sellout success and prepared for customers to fight over the limited inventory. Black Friday arrived with doors opening at 4 a.m. as shoppers flooded into stores across the country. The crowds rushed past the singing fish displays without even glancing at them, because nobody wanted the decorations at all. Week 1, sales were disappointing, while Week 2 sales proved even worse as the fish sat untouched on shelves. By Week 3, the situation reached crisis levels, and store managers began discounting prices, desperately trying to move inventory. Even with 50% discounts, customers showed zero interest in buying the singing fish decorations that filled valuable shelf space during peak Christmas shopping season. December arrived with fish still sitting on shelves in every Walmart store across America. Price cuts became more and more desperate, with 70% off, then 80% off markdowns that still failed to attract buyers. Christmas Day arrived with nearly 2 million fish remaining completely unsold, while warehouses stayed packed full and distribution centers overflowed with unwanted inventory. Post-Christmas clearance sales began with 90% off pricing as Walmart desperately tried to recover any money possible from the disaster. Even at $3 each, when the original retail price was $49.99, the fish barely sold at all. The financial calculation revealed that each fish cost $15 wholesale, with 2 million units ordered for a $30 million investment that recovered maybe $6 million through clearance sales. The total losses extended far beyond the purchase price because shipping costs from China were enormous and warehouse storage fees mounted daily. Distribution costs to get fish to individual stores, plus wasted marketing campaign expenses, and employee time spent sorting and repricing added millions more to the disaster. The final estimated total loss reached $30 million, making it one of the most expensive inventory miscalculations in retail history. The aftermath was ugly for the buyers who approved the massive order without proper market research. Inventory management systems were completely revised, while forecasting models underwent total overhauls to prevent similar disasters. The remaining fish faced an uncertain fate, with some donated to charity organizations, some sold to liquidation companies for pennies on the dollar, and some literally thrown away to fill landfills with singing fish that nobody wanted. The expensive lesson proved that past success with Big Mouth Billy Bass did not guarantee that customers wanted copycat products. Ordering 2 million units of anything without market research or test marketing is a recipe for complete disaster. Walmart today uses the singing fish fiasco internally in training programs and inventory management classes as the ultimate cautionary tale about assuming trends will repeat without verification. Mistake number 3. Toys R Us bankruptcy. Christmas, 2017. Toys R Us was the ultimate childhood destination store founded in 1948 that grew into a global empire with 800 stores across America, employing 64,000 people worldwide. The company generated $7.9 billion in annual revenue and dominated the toy retail market for decades as the place where kids dreamed about visiting and parents saved money for Christmas shopping every year. But everything changed in 2005 when private equity firms Bain Capital and KKR Partners bought the company for $6.6 billion, financed almost entirely by debt. The massive debt load meant Toys R Us now owed billions in interest payments that crippled normal operations and prevented necessary investments in store renovations and website development. Innovation stopped completely, while the company struggled just to make debt payments every month. Meanwhile, Amazon was rising rapidly and making online toy shopping the new normal, while Walmart expanded toy sections and Target improved offerings. Competition intensified from every direction, but Toys R Us could not respond effectively because every dollar went to paying interest on the leveraged buyout debt. Stores began looking outdated and dingy, while the website remained clunky and slow as inventory management systems failed and customer service declined noticeably. By 2017, the company was already struggling badly with declining sales and mounting losses. The holiday season represented the last chance for survival because toy retailers make 70% of annual revenue during the critical Christmas shopping period from October through December. Company leadership knew they needed a perfect Christmas season to have any hope of avoiding bankruptcy and keeping the iconic brand alive. September 2017 arrived, and Toys R Us filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection just before the crucial holiday shopping season began. The company insisted it was a reorganization, not a liquidation, and promised stores would stay open for Christmas with full inventory and normal operations. Customers became nervous about shopping at a bankrupt retailer, while suppliers demanded cash payment up front instead of normal credit terms that made stocking shelves extremely difficult. The Christmas shopping season of 2017 became a slow-motion disaster as customers avoided Toys R Us stores, fearing gift cards would become worthless. parents shifted Christmas shopping to Amazon, Walmart, and Target instead of risking purchases at a company in bankruptcy. Sales dropped dramatically, while stores that should have been packed with holiday shoppers stood nearly empty during the most important retail period of the year. January 2018 arrived with devastating Christmas sales results that made reorganization impossible. The company announced complete liquidation and began going out of business sales at all 800 stores simultaneously. 33,000 employees learned they would lose their jobs, while millions of children lost their favorite toy store destination forever. The financial destruction was massive, with $5 billion in total debt that would never be repaid to creditors. Suppliers lost millions in unpaid invoices, while landlords lost rent payments and faced empty retail spaces in malls across America. Store fixtures and inventory sold for pennies on the dollar during liquidation sales that brought bargain hunters but no salvation for the dying company. By June 2018, every Toys R Us store in America had closed permanently. The liquidation destroyed $5 billion in equity value, plus billions more in economic impact from lost jobs and supplier relationships. The private equity firms that loaded the company with debt walked away mostly unharmed, while employees and suppliers bore the financial devastation of the failed leveraged buyout. The Christmas season of 2017 was supposed to save Toys R Us, but instead became the final chapter in the death of an iconic American retailer. The expensive lesson taught that excessive debt from leveraged buyouts can destroy even the strongest brands when they cannot invest in competing with modern retail trends. An entire generation of children will never experience the magic of walking through Toys R Us at Christmas time because financial engineering destroyed what 70 years of business building had created. Mistake number 4. Harrods Luxury Bear Pricing Error, 2014. Harrods of London is one of the most exclusive luxury department stores in the world, known for selling the finest and most expensive products available anywhere. The store caters to billionaires and royalty, with items priced in the hundreds of thousands of pounds as status symbols for the ultra-wealthy. Every Christmas season, Harrods creates elaborate displays and offers exclusive luxury items that wealthy customers compete to purchase as ultimate gifts. For Christmas 2014, Harrods offered an exclusive limited edition Steiff teddy bear handcrafted in Germany with gold thread embroidery and precious stone eyes. The bear was priced at 100,000 British pounds, which equals approximately 250,000 American dollars, making it one of the most expensive teddy bears ever created. Only a handful were made, and Harrods expected to sell them to their wealthiest regular customers who collect such luxury items. Someone in the Harrods web development team made a catastrophic error while uploading the Christmas catalog to the website. The luxury bear that should have been listed at 100,000 pounds was accidentally priced at 100 pounds instead because of a missing zero in the pricing database. The error went live on the website during peak Christmas shopping season when millions of people browse Harrods online looking for luxury gifts. Sharp-eyed bargain hunters spotted the pricing error within hours, and word spread rapidly across internet forums and social media. Thousands of people rushed to the Harrods website to order the luxury bear at the impossibly low price before the error could be corrected. Orders flooded in from around the world as people used credit cards and PayPal to secure purchases of $250,000 bears for just $250. The Harrods IT team discovered the error several hours later after receiving hundreds of automated order confirmations. By the time they could shut down online ordering and correct the price, over 2,000 orders had been placed, and payment processing had been completed for many of them. The company faced a legal and public relations nightmare about whether to honor the clearly mistaken price or cancel thousands of confirmed orders. British consumer protection laws are strict about honoring advertised prices even when obvious errors occur. Legal experts debated whether Harrods could legally cancel the orders or if they were obligated to deliver luxury bears at the mistake price. Customer advocacy groups argued that confirmed orders with completed payment processing must be honored regardless of the pricing error that caused them. Harrods initially attempted to cancel all orders and issue refunds claiming obvious pricing error as justification. Hundreds of angry customers threatened lawsuits and demanded the bears be delivered as ordered and confirmed. Social media erupted with outrage as people accused Harrods of false advertising and deceptive business practices, even though the error was clearly accidental. The company eventually reached settlement agreements, with most customers offering substantial compensation and gift certificates in exchange for accepting order cancellations. Some customers held out demanding either the bear at the mistaken price or cash compensation equal to the difference between mistake price and actual value. Legal battles dragged on for months, costing Harrods hundreds of thousands in legal fees and settlements. The total financial damage included lost revenue from legitimate sales that never happened because of the controversy. The few luxury bears that had been manufactured specifically for Christmas 2014 could not be sold after the pricing disaster made them infamous. Harrods' reputation suffered among both wealthy collectors, who felt the store was incompetent, and middle-class customers, who felt cheated when orders were canceled. The final cost estimate exceeded £2 million when accounting for legal settlements, lost sales, destroyed inventory value, and damaged brand reputation. The IT systems were completely overhauled with multiple verification checks to prevent similar pricing errors. Employee training was enhanced, and pricing approval processes now require multiple manager sign-offs before going live on the website. The Harrods luxury bear disaster of Christmas 2014 taught expensive lessons about quality control in e-commerce pricing. A single missing zero in a database field created millions in losses and damaged the reputation of one of the world's most prestigious retailers. The company now treats online pricing with the same careful attention as physical store displays to ensure such costly errors never happen again during the crucial Christmas shopping season. Mistake number 5. Amazon pricing algorithm chaos. 2016. Amazon built the world's largest online retail empire through sophisticated computer algorithms that automatically adjust prices millions of times per day based on competition and demand. The pricing algorithms usually work flawlessly to maximize revenue while staying competitive with other retailers. But Christmas Eve 2016 proved that even the most advanced systems can fail spectacularly when something goes wrong with the underlying code. The Amazon pricing system uses artificial intelligence to monitor competitor prices and automatically adjust to stay competitive while maximizing profit margins. If Walmart drops the price on a television, then Amazon's algorithm instantly matches or beats that price. If demand surges for a particular toy, then the algorithm raises prices to maximize revenue from the increased interest. This happens automatically millions of times daily without human oversight or approval for most products. Christmas Eve morning 2016 began normally with the pricing algorithm making routine adjustments across millions of products. Then something went catastrophically wrong in the code that nobody at Amazon noticed initially. The algorithm began making absurd pricing changes that defied all logic and commercial sense, as bugs in the software created chaos across the entire platform. Used books that normally sold for $5 to $10 suddenly appeared listed at $23 million each. Academic textbooks jumped to prices exceeding $50 million for a single copy. Even common bestsellers showed prices in the hundreds of thousands of dollars for paperback editions. The algorithm had lost all connection to reality and was setting prices that no human would ever pay for any reason. Customers noticed immediately on Christmas Eve morning when last-minute shopping showed insane prices on previously affordable items. Social media exploded with screenshots of the ridiculous prices as people shared the most absurd examples they could find. News outlets picked up the story and began reporting on Amazon's pricing disaster during the most important shopping day before Christmas. Amazon's customer service phone lines and chat systems were flooded with confused and angry shoppers demanding explanations. Customers who had items in shopping carts discovered prices had jumped from $20 to $200,000 overnight. Some people had actually completed purchases at the inflated prices before realizing the error because auto-checkout processed orders without showing final price confirmation. The technical team at Amazon scrambled to identify the bug and halt the runaway algorithm before more damage occurred. Shutting down pricing systems entirely meant losing sales during peak Christmas Eve shopping hours. Leaving the system running meant continued chaos and potential financial liability for orders placed at incorrect prices. The company faced impossible choices with millions in potential losses either way. Engineers worked frantically throughout Christmas Eve to fix the code and restore normal pricing across the entire platform. Meanwhile, customer service representatives processed thousands of price adjustment requests and order cancellations. The company issued statements blaming technical glitches and promising to honor correct prices for anyone affected by the error. The financial damage proved difficult to calculate because some customers had completed purchases at inflated prices that Amazon was legally obligated to refund. Lost sales from customers who abandoned shopping carts and went to competitors instead totaled millions during the crucial final shopping hours before Christmas. Processing refunds and price adjustments required enormous customer service resources and overtime pay for holiday workers. Brand reputation damage was significant as trust in Amazon's pricing integrity was shaken during the most visible shopping day of the year. Competitors seized the opportunity to advertise price reliability and attract customers away from Amazon. Media coverage of the pricing chaos continued for days after Christmas, as examples of the most absurd prices circulated widely online. The estimated total cost exceeded $10 million when including lost sales, refund processing, customer service overtime, and brand reputation damage. Amazon completely overhauled its pricing algorithm systems with additional safety checks and human oversight for unusual price changes. The company implemented hard caps on maximum prices and automatic alerts when prices exceed reasonable thresholds to prevent similar disasters. Christmas Eve 2016 taught Amazon that even the most sophisticated algorithms need safeguards against catastrophic failures. Trusting artificial intelligence completely without human oversight created millions in losses during the most important shopping day of the year. The lesson cost $10 million, but prevented potentially worse disasters in future holiday seasons, when a pricing algorithm failure could destroy customer trust permanently. Mistake number 6. Target Canada Expansion Disaster, 2013. Target was riding high on success in the United States, with nearly 2,000 profitable stores, when executives decided to expand into Canada for the first time in company history. The plan was to open 124 stores simultaneously across Canada, in time for Christmas 2013, to capture holiday shopping season revenue immediately. This aggressive expansion strategy would cost billions, but promised to establish Target as a major Canadian retailer overnight, instead of slower, gradual growth. The company purchased the leases for 133 former Zellers department store locations from Hudson's Bay Company for nearly $2 billion. Renovation costs added hundreds of millions more as Target transformed the outdated Zellers spaces into modern Target stores. Supply chain infrastructure required building new distribution centers and hiring thousands of Canadian employees who needed training in Target systems and culture. The timeline was impossibly aggressive, with Target demanding all stores open before Christmas 2013 to maximize first-year revenue. Construction crews worked around the clock, while inventory systems were rushed into operation before proper testing. Employees received abbreviated training, while supply chain logistics were still being finalized. Everything that could go wrong in a retail expansion was set up to fail because of the impossible deadline pressure. The first Target Canada stores opened in March 2013, with great fanfare and long lines of curious Canadian shoppers eager to experience the American retailer. Initial enthusiasm quickly turned to disappointment and anger as customers discovered massive problems in almost every store they visited. Shelves were half empty, with huge gaps where products should have been displayed. The inventory management system had catastrophic failures that prevented products from reaching stores even though warehouses were full. Computer glitches meant distribution centers could not properly route merchandise to the correct stores. Items that were supposed to be on shelves in Toronto sat in distribution centers in Vancouver, while Vancouver stores lacked products sitting in Toronto warehouses. Prices were much higher than equivalent items at Walmart Canada, making Target non-competitive on the value perception that built the brand in America. Canadian customers who visited Target stores in the United States expected similar prices and selection, but found neither in the Canadian locations. The promise of affordable style that defined Target in America was completely absent in the rushed Canadian expansion. Product selection was limited compared to American stores because suppliers were hesitant to stock unproven Canadian locations. Many popular Target brands from the U.S. were unavailable in Canada, leaving shelves even more bare. Customers came expecting the full Target experience they knew from cross-border shopping trips, but found a disappointing shadow of the real thing. Christmas 2013 was supposed to be Target Canada's triumphant debut holiday season. Instead, it became a disaster as negative word of mouth spread rapidly across social media. Canadian shoppers warned each other to avoid Target and shop at Walmart or other established retailers instead. Sales were catastrophically below projections, while operational costs exceeded budgets in every category. The first year, losses totaled nearly $1 billion as Target Canada hemorrhaged money from empty stores and broken systems. Company executives insisted the problems were temporary and fixable, with more investment and time. Target poured another $1 billion into fixing inventory systems and expanding product selection for Christmas 2014. The second Christmas season showed some improvement, but sales remained far below break-even levels. Canadian customers had decided Target was not worth visiting, and changing that perception proved impossible. By late 2014, Target admitted complete defeat and announced closure of all Canadian stores after less than 2 years of operation. The final accounting revealed total losses exceeding $5 billion from the failed Canadian expansion. $2 billion spent acquiring store leases, plus billions more in renovations, inventory, operations, and closure costs. 17,000 Canadian employees lost their jobs, while suppliers lost millions in unpaid invoices. Landlords faced empty retail spaces in malls across Canada. The expensive lessons from Target Canada included never rushing expansion to meet arbitrary deadlines like Christmas seasons. Inventory systems must be tested thoroughly before stores open to customers. Pricing must be competitive with local markets, not just transplanted from other countries. Building supply chain infrastructure takes time and cannot be rushed. Target retreated completely from Canada and focused on fixing problems in American stores instead of international expansion. The company uses the Canadian disaster as internal case study about the dangers of aggressive growth and unrealistic timelines. Christmas 2013 was supposed to establish Target as a Canadian retail power, but instead began the most expensive retail expansion failure in corporate history. Mistake number 7. Hoverboard Christmas Recall Crisis. 2015. Hoverboards were the hottest Christmas gift of 2015, with millions of parents desperately seeking the self-balancing scooters for their children. The devices became a cultural phenomenon thanks to celebrity endorsements and viral videos of people gliding effortlessly on 2 wheels. Retailers could not keep hoverboards in stock as demand far exceeded supply during the peak holiday shopping season. The product name was misleading because hoverboards did not actually hover above the ground, but instead used motorized wheels and gyroscope sensors for balance. Dozens of Chinese manufacturers rushed cheaply made versions to market to capitalize on the trend. American retailers imported millions of units to meet Christmas demand without proper safety testing or quality control verification. Prices ranged from $300 to $1,500, depending on brand and features. Parents spent hundreds of dollars believing they were buying safe products for their children from reputable retailers. The major sellers included Amazon, Walmart, Target, and specialty electronics stores, who all heavily promoted hoverboards as the must-have Christmas gift of the season. Then the fires started happening in late November, just weeks before Christmas. Hoverboards began catching fire while charging due to faulty lithium-ion batteries that could overheat and explode. Houses burned down while families slept because hoverboards plugged in overnight suddenly burst into flames. Videos of burning hoverboards spreading across social media created panic among millions of parents who had already purchased them as Christmas gifts. The Consumer Product Safety Commission launched urgent investigation and discovered widespread safety defects in most hoverboard brands. Battery quality was inconsistent and dangerous, while electrical components lacked basic safety features. Many units had no proper certification and violated electrical safety codes. The agency began issuing recalls in early December during peak Christmas shopping. Major retailers faced impossible decisions about products flying off shelves and generating millions in revenue. Continuing to sell hoverboards meant potential liability for fires and injuries. Pulling hoverboards from stores meant losing enormous holiday season profits. Different retailers made different choices as recalls expanded to include more brands. By mid-December, the situation reached crisis levels as airlines banned hoverboards from flights due to fire risk. Major shipping companies like UPS refused to transport them anymore. College campuses and shopping malls prohibited hoverboard use on their properties. The hottest Christmas gift of the season was becoming toxic product nobody wanted associated with their brand. Amazon stopped all hoverboard sales on December 15th and offered full refunds to customers who had already purchased them. Walmart and Target followed within days, pulling hundreds of thousands of units from shelves at the peak of Christmas shopping season. Smaller retailers were left holding inventory worth millions that could no longer be sold legally or safely. The total recall eventually covered over 500,000 units from dozens of brands sold through hundreds of retailers. Inventory worth hundreds of millions of dollars became worthless overnight, as products could not be sold even at deep discounts. Retailers faced the choice of accepting returns for full refunds or facing lawsuits from customers whose homes burned down. The financial damage extended beyond unsold inventory because retailers had to refund millions of dollars for already sold hoverboards. Storage and disposal of recalled units cost additional millions, while legal liability from fires and injuries mounted into billions in potential claims. Insurance companies raised rates for retailers who sold hoverboards, reflecting the enormous risk exposure. Brand reputation damage hit retailers who were slow to recall hoverboards or who resisted removing them from shelves. Companies that prioritized short-term Christmas profits over customer safety faced public backlash and boycott threats. The retailers who acted quickly to pull products and offer refunds limited damage, but still lost enormous revenue during peak shopping season. The estimated industry-wide loss exceeded $500 million in destroyed inventory, refunds, legal costs, and lost sales. Individual retailers lost tens of millions each, while small specialty stores went bankrupt from the concentrated impact. The Christmas season of 2015 was supposed to generate record profits from hoverboard sales, but instead became a product safety catastrophe. The expensive lessons included that rushing trendy products to market without safety testing creates enormous liability. Low-cost Chinese manufacturing without quality control standards produces dangerous products. Retailers have responsibility to verify safety, even when suppliers claim compliance. Quick profits during Christmas season are not worth the long-term costs of selling unsafe products that harm customers. Hoverboards eventually returned to market after industry standards were established and proper safety certifications required. But the damage from Christmas 2015 affected the category permanently, with many consumers remaining skeptical about safety. The $500 million disaster taught the entire consumer electronics industry that trendy Christmas gifts must meet safety standards before reaching store shelves, regardless of profit potential. Mistake number 8. Macy's Thanksgiving Parade, Sonic Balloon, 2011. The Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade is an American tradition watched by 50 million people on television and attended by 3 million spectators lining the streets of New York City. The giant character balloons floating above the parade are iconic, with each new balloon costing hundreds of thousands of dollars to design and construct. For 2011, Macy's decided to debut a giant Sonic the Hedgehog balloon timed to promote the Christmas shopping season and video game sales. Sonic the Hedgehog was experiencing a popularity resurgence thanks to new video games and nostalgia from adults who grew up playing the original games. Sega worked with Macy's to create a massive balloon version of the blue hedgehog character that would tower several stories above the parade route. The balloon cost $400,000 to design, construct, and test, making it one of the most expensive parade editions ever created. The design featured Sonic in his classic running pose with distinctive blue color and red shoes that made him instantly recognizable to millions of fans. The balloon measured 50 feet long and required dozens of handlers to control with ropes as it floated above the parade route. Wind conditions on parade day were concerning, but not severe enough to cancel the appearance of the expensive new balloon. The parade began at 9 in the morning on Thanksgiving Day 2011, with the Sonic balloon performing well for the first several blocks. Millions of television viewers watched as the blue hedgehog character floated smoothly past crowds of cheering spectators. Then the balloon approached Columbus Circle, where wind conditions became more challenging due to tall buildings creating air turbulence. A sudden gust of wind caught the balloon and pushed it sideways toward trees lining Central Park. The handlers on the ground pulled hard on guide ropes, trying to keep the balloon away from branches. But the wind was too strong, and the balloon made contact with a tree at the corner of Central Park West and 65th Street in front of millions of live television viewers. The collision with tree branches tore a large hole in the balloon, causing helium to escape rapidly. The Sonic character began deflating and twisting in the wind as handlers struggled to control the damaged balloon. Pieces of blue fabric fluttered in the wind, while what remained of Sonic's face contorted into disturbing shapes that looked nothing like the cheerful character. Television commentators were stunned into silence as the disaster unfolded live on national broadcast. Social media exploded with reactions as millions of viewers watched Sonic the Hedgehog die a slow death in front of crowds of children who came to see the parade. The damaged balloon had to be removed from the parade route, immediately leaving a gap in the lineup. The $400,000 balloon was completely destroyed after less than 1 hour of use, making it the most expensive parade failure in Macy's history. Beyond the direct cost of the lost balloon, the publicity disaster on live television in front of 50 million viewers created immeasurable brand damage. Sonic the Hedgehog became associated with failure and disaster instead of the positive gaming experience Sega wanted to promote. Sega had planned major Christmas marketing campaign around the Macy's parade appearance, including commercials during the broadcast and retail displays featuring the balloon imagery. All of that marketing became worthless when the balloon crashed and had to be scrapped. Millions spent on integrated campaign could not be recovered because the centerpiece promotion failed spectacularly on live television. The parade incident generated negative news coverage for days after Thanksgiving as media outlets replayed footage of the crashing balloon. Late-night comedians created sketches mocking both Macy's parade planning and Sega's marketing judgment. The story became symbol of corporate incompetence during the crucial kickoff to Christmas shopping season. Macy's parade officials faced criticism for allowing the balloon to fly in questionable wind conditions. Safety protocols were questioned as investigators examined whether proper procedures were followed. The company's reputation for flawless parade execution, spanning decades, was damaged by the very public failure visible to tens of millions. The total cost exceeded $2 million when including the destroyed balloon, worthless marketing campaign, negative publicity impact, and investigation costs. Macy's implemented stricter wind speed policies for balloon flights and enhanced training for handlers. Sega quietly canceled plans for video game promotional integration with future parades. The Sonic balloon disaster of Thanksgiving 2011 taught expensive lessons about the risks of high-profile promotional stunts during live television broadcasts. Weather contingency planning must include pulling expensive balloons from parades when conditions are questionable, regardless of marketing pressures. The cost of a destroyed balloon and damaged brand image far exceeds any benefits from parade appearance during the Christmas shopping season kickoff. Mistake number 9. Xbox 360 Red Ring of Death. Christmas 2005. Microsoft launched the Xbox 360 gaming console in November 2005, positioned to dominate Christmas shopping season and beat Sony PlayStation to market by a full year. The early launch timing was designed to build massive installed base before competition arrived. Microsoft manufactured millions of units expecting sellout success as desperate parents searched for the hottest gaming console gift. The Xbox 360 launched at $399 for the premium version with strong initial sales and mostly positive reviews from gaming media. Parents spent hundreds of dollars buying consoles for Christmas gifts, trusting Microsoft's reputation for quality products. The first few weeks after launch seemed successful, with steady sales and satisfied customers reporting positive gaming experiences. Then the failures started happening in late December, right around Christmas, as the first wave of buyers experienced catastrophic hardware malfunctions. The console would display 3 red lights around the power button in a distinctive ring pattern that indicated total system failure. Gamers called it the Red Ring of Death, and it meant the console was completely dead and needed replacement. The failure rate was shockingly high, with estimates suggesting more than half of all Xbox 360 consoles eventually failed. Some units died within days of purchase, while others lasted months before succumbing. The pattern was clear that a fundamental design flaw affected nearly every console manufactured in the first production run. Microsoft initially denied widespread problems and blamed failures on customer misuse. Christmas morning 2005 saw thousands of children opening Xbox 360 gifts, only to have them fail within hours or days of first use. Parents who spent $400 on gaming systems watched them die repeatedly even after replacement units arrived. The red ring of death became symbol of defective products and broken Christmas promises to children who had begged for Xbox consoles. Microsoft's customer service was overwhelmed with complaints and replacement requests from angry customers demanding refunds or working consoles. The company offered replacements, but many replacement units also failed quickly because the underlying design flaw affected all units from the early manufacturing runs. Customers endured multiple replacement cycles trying to get a working console. The technical problem stemmed from inadequate cooling design that caused solder joints on the main processor to crack from repeated heating and cooling cycles. The rush to beat PlayStation to market meant Microsoft cut corners on thermal testing and launched with a design that was fundamentally flawed. Engineering warnings about cooling issues were ignored in favor of meeting the Christmas deadline. By mid-2006, the scope of the disaster became undeniable as failure rates climbed above 50%. Microsoft finally admitted the problem in July 2007 and announced a $1.15 billion program to extend warranties and repair or replace all affected consoles. The billion-dollar charge against earnings shocked investors and damaged Microsoft's reputation for quality. The financial cost of $1.15 billion for repairs and replacements was only the direct measurable expense. The brand damage from the red ring of death affected Xbox's reputation for years and cost countless lost sales to customers who switched to PlayStation instead. Developers were hesitant to create exclusive Xbox games when the platform had such high failure rates. The Christmas season of 2005 should have established Xbox 360 as the dominant console of its generation. Instead, it became a cautionary tale about rushing products to market before proper testing and quality control. Microsoft's aggressive deadline to beat PlayStation to market cost them far more than any benefits from the early launch timing. The expensive lessons included that first-to-market advantage means nothing if the product is defective and fails at catastrophic rates. Ignoring engineering concerns about fundamental design flaws creates billion-dollar liabilities. Christmas season deadlines should never override proper testing and quality assurance processes that ensure products actually work reliably. Microsoft eventually fixed the cooling design in later Xbox 360 models and restored some credibility with improved hardware. But the red ring of death remained symbol of the 2005 Christmas disaster that cost the company over $1 billion in direct costs, plus immeasurable brand damage. The launch that was supposed to win the console generation, instead, became one of the most expensive product quality failures in consumer electronics history. Mistake number 10. Starbucks Red Cup Controversy, 2015. Starbucks had used decorated Christmas-themed red cups during the holiday season for decades, featuring snowflakes, ornaments, reindeer, and other festive winter imagery. The cups were beloved tradition that customers looked forward to each year as signal that Christmas season had officially begun. For 2015, Starbucks decided to simplify the design by using plain red cups with no decorations or holiday imagery at all. The decision was made by marketing executives who wanted a minimalist modern aesthetic that would appeal to broader customer base beyond just Christmas observers. The plain red cups were supposed to be inclusive blank canvas that customers could interpret however they wished. What seemed like simple design choice triggered unexpected backlash that became national controversy. On November 1, 2015, Starbucks released the new plain red cups in stores across America without any advance warning or explanation for the design change. Christian customers noticed immediately that all Christmas imagery had been removed and began questioning why Starbucks was abandoning holiday tradition. Social media posts questioning the change began appearing within hours of the cups reaching stores. A few social media influencers with large Christian followings began framing the plain cups as evidence of war on Christmas, an attack on Christian faith. Posts claimed Starbucks was removing Christmas from their cups to avoid offending non-Christians. The narrative spread rapidly that Starbucks hated Christianity and was purposely eliminating religious holiday symbolism to be politically correct. The controversy exploded when a viral video from social media personality encouraged followers to tell Starbucks baristas their name was Merry Christmas when ordering drinks. The video claimed this would force Starbucks to write Merry Christmas on cups and thus be tricked into acknowledging the holiday they were supposedly trying to erase. The video was viewed millions of times and shared widely across social media platforms. Major news outlets picked up the story and began reporting on the Starbucks Red Cup controversy during the peak run-up to Christmas shopping season. Cable news channels aired debates about whether plain red cups constituted war on Christmas or if complaints were overreaction. The story dominated news cycles for days as pundits argued about Christmas traditions and religious expression in commercial spaces. Conservative groups organized boycotts threatening to stop purchasing Starbucks products until Christmas imagery returned to cups. Social media campaigns urged followers to avoid Starbucks entirely during the holiday season and patronize competitors instead. The hashtag Merry Christmas Starbucks trended on Twitter for days as the controversy intensified. Starbucks initially responded with confusion because executives did not understand why simple design change caused such enormous backlash. The company released statements explaining the cups were meant to be minimalist embrace of the holiday season, not rejection of Christmas specifically. The explanations did little to calm the controversy, which had taken on its own momentum. The financial impact hit Starbucks' stock price, which dropped several percentage points in the days following the controversy. Industry analysts estimated the company lost over $100 million in market capitalization, as investors worried about boycott impact on holiday sales. Same-store sales growth slowed during the crucial November and December period when Starbucks normally sees strongest revenue. Beyond direct financial losses, the brand reputation damage affected customer loyalty and perception of Starbucks' commitment to tradition. Some longtime customers genuinely felt betrayed by the cup design change and switched to local coffee shops or competitors. The controversy created association between Starbucks and conflict over Christmas that damaged the warm holiday feelings the company had built for decades. The backlash proved that even minor changes to beloved traditions can trigger enormous customer reactions during emotionally charged Christmas season. What seemed like innocuous design decision became national controversy that cost Starbucks hundreds of millions in lost market value and damaged brand perception. The company learned expensive lesson about importance of customer expectations and tradition, especially during holidays. Starbucks returned to decorated cups with Christmas imagery in following years and never attempted plain red cup design again. The company now treats cup design with much more careful consideration, understanding the emotional connection customers have to holiday traditions. The 2015 Red Cup controversy became case study in how good intentions and minimalist design can backfire spectacularly when tradition and customer expectations are ignored. The total cost of over $100 million in lost market capitalization, plus damaged brand perception, made the plain red cups one of the most expensive design choices in retail history. The lesson taught that some traditions are sacred to customers, and changing them requires much more careful planning and communication than a simple unannounced switch during the holiday season.